Flanahan there, please?
Yes. Yes, this is him.
Okay. This is Mary Johnson. I'm with the Missouri State Auditor's Office,
Yes.
and I received a message to give you a call to discuss fake news.
What's that? Well, yes, and what I would think is an unethical appointment of the Ozark County prosecutor. And I did, your secretary suggested that I call the governor's office, and I had about a 20-minute call with the governor's office about it, and they did tell me that when the judge appoints a prosecutor, or what? I'm sorry. Where do you want me to start, or what? Or do you know?
No, that's fine. What you were talking about is fine.
Okay. So this goes to the validity of the appointment of Mr. Weatherman, who is now the Ozark County prosecutor. And this occurred because Garabrandt, who was appointed by Jay Nixon back in 2016, and he was appointed for a while, and then he won election against Russo, a local attorney who teaches at College of the Ozarks and is also deputy for the sheriff's office. Mr. Weatherman, I don't believe should have been appointed by the judge, who is friends with an attorney, Christopher Swatage, and who is personal friends with Matt Weatherman. Matt Weatherman is personal friends with Christopher Swatage. Christopher Swatage gave me information on John Russo that I made public, that John Russo owes $50,000 in back taxes. Within days of me posting that information on my YouTube channel, Russo withdrew his application to be prosecutor because of this, I believe. And then they did a news story, Ozark County, saying that Russo didn't take the job. You could find that news story by just Googling Russo withdraws application. There's a news story about it, and he says it would affect his retirement, and he didn't get retirement and he would be 72 by the time he gets office and everything. Well, he's taken a job an hour's drive from Gainesville, where he lives, to be prosecutor in Marionville, Arkansas, as the deputy prosecutor, because that state has that county has a low population. He's overseen by Baxter County prosecutor's office. But he's taken a job when he said he didn't want to take the job as Ozark County prosecutor because of those reasons, which I think was just a fake story to cover the information that Swatage, my attorney, gave me dirt on Russo that I published, so the citizens of Ozark County would know that the guy owes taxes, and so that Russo would withdraw his application, and Weatherman would have to be picked by the judge. I think in no way the judge knew about what was going on, but certainly Swatage knew about it, and Weatherman had already moved to the area from West Plains, anticipating getting the job. And so I think the governor should have appointed someone instead of the judge. And so I think there's ethics problems in there at some point and I think they're just going to cover it up because it's a bunch of good old boys getting their friend, Matt Weatherman, who was also the campaign manager for Cass Martin, who previously worked with Weatherman in West Plains, because Weatherman was the assistant prosecutor in West Plains, and then he moved closer to Gainesville to get the job and Christopher Swatage assured that he would get the job by giving me the information that Russo is a tax cheat, and so Russo just went somewhere else and got a job, and the citizens get Weatherman for prosecutor.
Okay. Is there some reason besides you think that the judge should pick Weatherman, and is there something more you know on Weatherman?
Yeah, I think Weatherman had knowledge of the $50,000 tax information being released against his political opponent, because Weatherman and Swatage are very good friends. And Swattage told me, he said, we're great friends and I want him to get the job. And if you post this information, Daryl, about Russo, he's a 3-time loser. And if the people know, there's no way, if the people know that he owes $50,000 in back taxes, there's no way Judge Carter will pick him. That's his exact words. There's no way Judge Carter will pick Russo if the public knows the information about Russo. The back taxes.
Have you contacted the Missouri Ethics Commission?
I tried. It's just, it's contact the chief disciplinary board, call the governor, call the governor's office, call these people. I mean, yeah, someone needs to do something about it. I was used as a pawn by Christopher Swattage and my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Missouri Battle Flag. It has like 130,000 views on it over a property line dispute, sheriff's race, and a lot of stuff going on with me on my YouTube channel. And Christopher Swattage was representing me. He's still representing me. I haven't did a motion to fire him, which I'm going to. And I haven't published the recording of him he violated his attorney-client privilege when I went for an appointment back in June 16th. He just proceeds to tell me about a murder trial that he's working on, and he disparages the victim and says the guy was. So I won't repeat what he said, but he said bad things about the person who was killed. Maybe the guy was a criminal or not a bad guy, but I read the preliminary hearing, and his dying words were, "I love you." When the guy shot him 3 times in the back, and he told me details about that, and that really soured me to him. And then when he tells me this information to use me to get his friend the job is just, it's really wrong. So, to have me publish that he's a tax evader so that Weatherman could get the job. And I'm sure they're going to deny that they did anything, but they have emails, and I mean, where else would I have got the tax information? My records are open. You could look at any of my phone calls, any of my emails. I didn't receive that information about Russo being a tax evader. That information came directly from Christopher Swattage, who either got it from the judge, or he got it from Matt Weatherman, or he got it from somebody to get Russo kicked out of the pick. And if there's only one person to get picked, I guess you get picked if there's only one person to get picked, right? So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I guess I could go back and take additional applications, but
well, the judge is or the governor is supposed to appoint someone. It's an interim appointment only until the election. So see if they get Weatherman, if they get their man in there, Weatherman, and he's in there now, and they keep him in there till election, they can say, "Oh, look what a good job he is," and then he gets elected in. Maybe it should have been a Democrat elected in instead of a Republican. Maybe the people should have had, the people of Missouri, the citizens of Ozark County should have had more choices, and the governor should have appointed someone, and then Matt Weatherman, since he lives in the area, he could run like everybody else is supposed to, instead of having his attorney buddies release dirt on his political opponents. I think it should be a statewide story, and I'm going to do my best to make it a statewide story. I think it's political corruption. I think it's manipulation of I have criminal charges that are pending, and Swattage told me if Russo isn't prosecuted, if you post that and Russo's not prosecutor, he can't prosecute you because he was the sheriff's deputy that investigated the property line dispute and everything. And it's really, the charges are a free speech deal from a YouTube video I posted. And we have a property line dispute that goes way back, but I've got drug into this now, and Swattage, he had the inside information on Russo knowing dirt on Russo and released it. That's the basis of it. He released it to me to put, and I've been told by an attorney, I've spoke with several attorneys who have said Weatherman should lose his job over this. They also said Russo could sue me for releasing the information. I don't know, he could sue me, but I don't have anything. Uh, and he certainly has that right to sue me because I released the information on my YouTube channel. But it was Swattage who released that information to get his friend Matt Weatherman the pick of being Ozark County prosecutor. And then we know once he's in there for, till election time, oh, he's been doing a great job. He's for the people. Boom, he gets elected in. Okay.
Yeah. Have you thought about turning Spottage into the Office of Chief Disciplinary Counsel?
I have a written complaint to give them, and uh, they just don't. I did a writ of extraordinary prohibition against the judge down there, who was me and my wife's attorney, Judge Raymond Gross. He wrote the contract for our house that this property line, it wasn't disclosed to us that the deck was built on the property line and the sewer ran on the neighbors, but we were sued for that. And in the criminal case for the harassment for a YouTube video I posted, the judge, who had been an attorney, needed to recuse himself, and he refused to recuse himself until I made a motion to a writ of extraordinary prohibition where I preserved all of our relationships of him being our attorney, writing the contract, why he has a conflict, and then he removed himself from it, and it went to Judge Carter. And now Swattage, because he knows I've released this information on my YouTube channel, has asked for a continuance. I haven't asked to fire him yet, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask for a hearing to fire him. And, the judge is going to be mad about this information. And I no way have claimed the judge knew anything about who he appointed, that it's the people around him manipulating the situation. And Christopher Swattage, who is an Ava attorney on the square, 25 years, is friends with all these ghetto boys. And Matt Weatherman is his friend, and he was also the campaign manager for the new sheriff, Cass Martin. So, the guys from West Plains have moved into Ozark County. Even Deputy Brown, he used to be employed at the West Plains. So, Weatherman got the inside information that Garabrandt was retiring, and I had that information before it was announced from Swattage that Garabrandt was retiring, and that Russo and there was going to be another prosecutor at the beginning of the year. So I was privy to that information that the public wasn't. I called the Ozark County Times. There's a phone record. I called them up and said, "Hey, are you guys going to do a story about Garabrandt's retirement?" "Oh, we haven't heard that yet. We'll do one when they don't want to talk to me because I'm critical of what they report and who they report for. They pick the winners and losers of what they want to report."
Okay.
So.
Well, this is not something our office will normally handle. That's the reason why I was.
So that's not considered corruption or nepotism or getting your friend a job?
Well, that is more on the judicial side, in that it would be handled by the courts.
What would be handled by the courts? The
Any
chief.
decisions made by judges or an attorney, stuff like that. We do not have jurisdiction to look into the court systems. That is done by the special.
The chief disciplinary.
Well, the chief disciplinary will look at the attorneys, but then there is a state office that looks at all the judicial actions.
Okay.
And
is it a judicial action, him hiring Weatherman?
Office of State Courts Administrator's Office.
Okay. And they're in charge of when the judge appoints a prosecutor or...
Yes.
Okay. And so
they would be looking at that.
Okay. Do you have a number for them or their name?
I can look it up. Okay, so the phone number is 573
573
4377.
4377. Okay, you're very helpful, but I thought you guys investigated corruption or what is it exactly to the auditor's office? I know you do audits of municipalities. I was the chief petitioner to have Lexington, Missouri audited in
Yes.
2016.
We do audits. We can do audits of some of the municipal courts, but most of the time when we do that, that information is obtained from the the Office of State Courts Administrator's office. We correspond with them back and forth. But when it comes to decisions of the courts and things like that, that is Office of State Courts.
What if like the judge gives his brother or cousin a job or something like that, or the mayor hires his
now, if you're talking mayor, that would be us.
Okay.
But you're talking courts. You're talking judges and lawyers and prosecutors.
Okay.
We just don't have jurisdiction.
You don't have jurisdiction, but you do have jurisdiction if there's like nepotism going on. They're giving their cousin all the contracts for the city, and he's making all the money, and there's not fair competition or something. That's something you guys would do.
We can investigate, and then depending on what that investigation finds, whether we can audit or not.
Whether you could audit or not, where the money was going, who was hired, what bids were accepted, that type of thing. But as far as the judicial, you have nothing to do with. So I was mistaken. So, okay, you're very helpful. You're very helpful for listening to me and giving me the number of who to call, and I'm going to call them right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.